Is there a hope that she'll be available for the next game?
Yeah, I mean, just took a little bit of contact to the head in practice, so she's in the concussion protocol now, and there's hope depending upon how quickly we can get through the stages, or I don't even know what the time frame of the stages are, but as we move forward, she's a big important part of what we would do in this series. So hopefully, she'll be able to progress.
You kind of just alluded to it, but obviously you've talked about Atlanta's size, and
Yeah.
he's obviously a big size for you guys. Just how does that affect how you play today?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly impacts us in having her ability and physicality defensively. It also affects us offensively because of her ability to space the floor. I mean, she's really started to find it again from the 3-point line, and her ability to space the floor for whether she's on the floor with AB or whether she's on the floor with Tosh, and Tosh can now dive to the rim, and we can get Tosh moving without the ball. So it's gonna be a challenge without her. But certainly, Bree Turner's been playing great minutes for us. We're gonna have to use her a little bit differently, not from a physicality standpoint, but using her length to be disruptive and try to make things difficult. And KK's got to be ready to roll.
Steph, given just everything that your team has gone through this summer, does it feel like the pressure is off in a way, in the sense that you guys are expected to be, one team and it turned into a different team? Or is it still that urgency there to try and really kind of make a deep run?
I think, yes, from the outside, the pressure's, not what it once was, but I think there's, internally, we take pride in everything that we do, and it's not pressure, but it's opportunity. The opportunity in front of us. We've had it. We've been able to put one foot in front of the other, and we've got an opportunity now to continue to advance in the playoffs, but also, for our young group, to really learn what it takes to compete in the playoffs. And I've said it since I think my opening press conference. There's no substitute for experience. It's another year that you think about the Lexis and the Kelseys and the ABs that can gain experience in this moment and what it means. And so I think we take every opportunity that we can to grow and to learn, and this opportunity is no different.
Coach, you've obviously had a lot of players coming at that guard position. What's really been the key throughout the stretch of the season, building consistency on offense, and what are you hoping to see in this first game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key's just been everybody that's been here since the beginning, being flexible, embracing our new players, because our new players have been primary ball handlers, allowing them to and encouraging them to do what they do best, and quickly learning how to play off of one another. It's not been instant. It's not been, it's taken some time, but I do think that we found a flow, we found a rhythm. And the key today is to stay aggressive, to let the ball find the right shot, for no one needs to play outside of themselves. They just need to do what they do best, and everybody's got to bring that to the table.
And then, jokes have been made about, the Coach Caitlin type deal. But we've seen her lead some huddles. What insight has she been able to provide? And then just from a leadership standpoint, what have you seen from her during this stretch?
Yeah, I think we've seen it from all of our injured players when they're in the moment. But Caitlin certainly has a great basketball IQ. Her ability to communicate some of the things that she's seeing on the floor, offensively, defensive coverages, whatever it might be, where some open opportunities are, encouraging her teammates to not pass up shots, because I feel like sometimes we do. And so you've got her and doing that. Sydney and Sophie have been really good leaders for us, whether they've been on the floor or off the floor. And having our injured players with us on this road trip is going to be really important. Everybody communicating together, continuing to hold one another accountable. But when you're on the sideline, you see things differently than you do when you're in game. And so having C engaged in those huddles and communicating what she sees has been really important.
The Atlanta Dream likes to use Jordan Canada to push pace because of her speed. What's one of the keys to neutralizing her on up?
Well, yeah, make sure we pick up the ball early. We can't allow her to get a full head of steam and pick her up, once she crosses half court or even deeper. We got to get to her early. We've got to try to make her play laterally instead of vertically. We've got to make sure that we try to keep her uncomfortable. Don't give her any clear, clean angles to the rim, and guard our yard.
And now Tillman has been developing this year from 3-point range. And what kind of threat does she present as well?
Well, I mean, she's a dual threat because not only can she shoot the three, which is something that she's worked really hard to to get better at, but she's great in moving without the basketball. I mean, you gotta play her honest. She can stand out at the 3-point line, but as soon as you turn your head, she's cutting to the rim. And she's making things happen with her activity level, really on both ends. And so, you know, I give Naz a ton of credit for continuing to develop her game. You know, it's been a different team since they've gone small in the starting lineup. They're faster, they're more versatile, and she's a big reason why.
Steph, on the point of the experience, you're on the other sideline of this, you know,
Mhm.
these players were participating in their first playoffs last year. Have you noticed, you know, like a bit more sense of like, just like that, you know, the Leahs and the Kelseys and the Lexies, like, that they feel like they've been here before, that they can sense that that experience from last year is, you know, something that they are really able to lean on, and like, what specifically, where do you expect that experience to really come?
I think first and foremost, you know, I don't know what they were like as they were prepping, you know, a year ago, but they've been really consistent in just preparation. You know, you don't sense nerves, you don't sense anxiety. It's just like we have been all season long. It's like we're preparing for an opponent. The stakes have been high for us most of the month of August and into September. You know, every game has had a sense of urgency. Every game has been like a playoff game. And so those three in particular have approached it the same way that they always do. And I think that you can see a level of maturity in that. Now it's not the same as when the lights turn on, but at the same time, they feel comfortable. And they feel like we've been there, and hearing them communicate in practices and understanding the different level of urgency that it takes, they've been growing, and it's been great to see.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.